16 spots separate from one another. It's a game in the difference. At the end of the day, you could be pushed to 5-4 if it's DCU upset here, or the Gibbons look to lock playoffs. I believe that is 4 or 5. I believe 5 wins is that magic number to put you in contention, and then the Foldy sheets begin. But as champion select will rain down on our screen, Aurelia and Kindred first 2 bans.
Yeah, and one thing to mention, you talk about 5 being that magical number. TUD Apes have already got those 5 wins, but DCU, they win here today. They lock in. It's a very important game ahead of us. Irelia banned away, something very comfortable, of course, for the mid jungle of the TUD Apes. Varus as well, having a sort of pick on the Veigar. I'm very curious to see what high priority is for both of these teams, as they're very different on their playstyles, with TUD being a little bit more aggressive on their side, as you can see of the bans.
It's a little bit more, yeah. Raven's going to be losing his Varus as he has just been chain spamming games all day long. The scouting has been done, right? That's the baseline level of preparations has been done. So we're looking to finish out this next set of bans. One more champion on the cards is going to be the Misfortune, potentially.
Yeah, Misfortune, really good combination with how DCU like to play. Scale a little bit, get yourselves towards those mid game, and really start bursting people out with a wombo combo of the Misfortune, the Leona. Still plenty of different AD carries which do the same thing. Jinx usually a high priority here in the Irish Collegiate Series, but maybe DCU has been cooking. A few of these teams have their own different meta, so we'll have to see it with first speed. But it has to be an AD carry in my head.
I mean, it's got to be, right? That's the typical, the safe priority pick. Ezreal, all reliable from no matter how many seasons. You could load in, you could pick a Sheen item on Ezreal, and it's going to be valuable.
Yeah, there maybe even the Mirror Mana at the start, but usually go for that Trinity Force early on. The flexibility isn't there for the Ezreal. It has to be in the AD carry position compared to the TUD Apes, who are hovering this Corki, a champion very much known that can go towards the mid lane or the AD carry. Very high priority for a lot of the teams because of that. Is going to get locked in, and now it has to be most likely a jungle pick. And this just actually feels like old HLE. They just pick the Maokai, they pick the Corki, play very safe in the early game, and the amount of control you have is insane with this champion.
I'm just waiting for that R3 Blitzcrank, right? That's the throw out the Maokai ult, and whoever takes up the root, hit him with the hook and fight him.
I absolutely love how you remember that. Benefit is you are playing the Ezreal, somebody who can bother that away. A bit harder to do with that Maokai ultimates at DCU. There might be a Blitzcrank coming against you. But so far, Ezreal locked in, plenty of different places to pick from. Most likely going to be a jungler. Usually you like to play either an Ivan or something that can clear super fast like a Zyra or a Lilia in towards the enemy composition. Amimi maybe can do that, has a decent clear after his first couple. So that is going to get locked in. Heavy team fighting comp from DCU. It's exactly the team comp which we expect from them.
Yep, they're looking to try and get that 5v5 going, looking for a bit of a mosh as the Cassante is going to be locked in the top lane. You know him, you tolerate him, he will be Cassanteing all over the screen.
Yeah, and Bessa, one of the high priority picks against it, as you can feel pretty comfortable and win out. But instead, we are going to be having the Mordekaiser. And I was watching a Bwippo stream quite recently, and he said that Mordekaiser is a fantastic champion into Cassante. Yes, Cassante could be annoying, but Mordekaiser puts him in the death realm and actually wins out there. So far, TD Apes still have the flexibility with the Maokai and Corki and have a winning matchup in the top side. So far, winning out in this game.
Yep, so far, they're definitely, I would consider they have the upper hand on this one, but now you want to look at what comes next. What is the way that you try and break up the flex? Maokai could also be flexed into that support role, into that jungle role. There's a lot more creativity available on this red side versus DCU. They want to fight you.
And there's one champion that you and me have experienced its solo queue recently, which could be getting brought up in the jungle. TD Apes, I think Gwen can be extremely strong here as a great front-to-back team fighting champion. It absolutely ruined our solo queue games. But honestly, I think you put the Maokai towards the support and maybe a Xing Zhao in the jungle could work out. Something that creates space and just play the front-to-back team fighting comp. It's the Malzahar is going to get banned away. Why are we banning Mouse? Would you? Okay, sure. Ban away the Malzahar. Maybe it massively counters the Corki.
Or it massively counters the AD melee mid that would really complement this comp, right? Maybe
Very
a
true.
Yone, perhaps, something in that vein. If you already got the Mord, you got the Mal, you're maybe looking for a little bit more DPS in the mid lane. AD, Yone, potentially.
Yeah, Yone definitely could be a big option. TD Apes hovering their support instead, trying to get that counter pick towards the mid lane. Massive fan of this champion, really good in his combination. And we talked about going for this front to back team fighting comp. Emilio suits that perfectly. You're able to use the ultimate to stop the Amumu from when he comes in, CCs your whole team, to be absolutely cleansed. So far, doing a very good job of abusing this red side with those counter picks. But DCU now, you have to show your support and most importantly, your mid laner. And if you think they're going to pick a mid lane champion that's AD, do you have a counteraction for it?
The Rel is going to be the first one on the docket, and as the support player amongst us, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is a horrible matchup. No,
Yeah, it's not great. The best thing is Real tries to engage with the W. Emilio just uses his own Q against that, and there's nothing you could do against it. And you also have the cozy campfire with the Corki, huge amount of extra damage, plenty of different ways with the outplay. And DCU have such a weird composition where they wanted to go in with the Amumu, and now they've completely pivoted to a front to back team fighting comp with that Vel'Koz locked in.
I mean, think of it this way though: if you have Cassante, Rel, Amumu being AOE team fighting, would you not want a life form disintegration ray over the top of it? Would
Yeah.
you not want true damage lasering to burn through this front line? That's surely not Vayne, is it?
No.
Is it?
It's a Vayne locked in. Think about it. We had discussions beforehand of when do you pick a Vayne? You pick a Vayne where they are just playing tanks, and you have an Amumu, you have a Cassante, and a Rel to get through. If you can survive this early game, I absolutely love this champion. And on top of that, if you max W on Melio, that's an extra 25% attack range extra, so you can be out of range of this Melio or the Amumu, sorry, or finding this engage. Still, not a
You do
massive
not.
fan.
You do not outrage bandage toss in campfire. You definitely Vayne
I don't love
is
it.
not autoing. Vayne is not autoing that guy from outside of bandage range, outside of Velq range, outside of SQ range.
See, there was one champion I thought they could have brought in towards the mid lane and been super successful. I think a Yasuo here for the side of TUD Apes last pick could have been absolutely incredible. Stopping all the damage coming out from the Vel'Koz except for the ultimate. You're able to have a great combination with that Maokai. Of course, that Q giving a slight knock up, allowing you to find the ultimate. And it's just a really strong front to back team fighting comp. But instead, they have gone for the Vayne, most likely towards the bot lane, I do hope, and keep the Corki in mid. And do they even get pushed in bot? The only chance I see them and TD Apes winning this game is the Maokai ultimate at level 6.
Okay, ult at 6 and top lane as well. As you highlighted yourself, Mordekaiser more than happy to kind of face up into the Cassante, shrug off the worst of the damage using that W, and will just kind of eventually death by 1,000 paper cuts, force him backwards and get the agency if they want to kind of contest grubs, something Amumu is extremely fond of trying to get for himself.
Yeah, we have a super interesting style that TD Apes have gone for because they've gone for 2 AD carries, something that we've seen a lot at the first stand in the recent tournament. And the way you like to play this is have the enemy team engage onto you, disengage, then re-engage at the point with the Vayne or the Corki, as there's no real things to try and deal with them. Yes, you have the Melio to stop it and the Maokai, but DCU now have all the cards in their hands where they can most likely tank the Maokai with the Cassante or the Amumu, or find the engage, back off, and just play this front to back fight. They never truly have to engage as they pivoted with a Vel'Koz and Ezreal. And I think that Vel'Koz pick may have just saved the draft for them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It holds space, and when you're the one who's able to A, have the trigger pull of a hard engage, and B, just stand there staring at the dragon and having a poke war. This is not the Corki of old. This is not the rocket barrage spam, just dodge the rockets for 10 minutes. This is someone who needs to close the gap, get those Gatling on you, get those autos in, Vayne the same deal, and you're going to have to try and navigate through not only hard engages, but random stray skill shots.
Yeah. And more importantly, think about the 2 versus 2 from DCU. You have a Mumu go in, always able to find at least a banish toss, or especially that ultimate. That is free lockdown CC for Vel'Koz to get off the full combination. And we all know the amount of burst damage that can come out from the champion. We've all seen Azat play it. So DCU in the mid 2v2, I think that's the way for them to win the game. While for the side of DCU Apes, you have top lane. Top lane's able to win out. Maokai, maybe just look for those ganks towards the bot lane. If you can get this Vayne ahead, there's a very big chance that she can just run away with this game. It's hard for Vel'Koz to hit the abilities with the tumble. You have the Melio ultimate for the disengage potential with a Rel or a Mumu engaged. There are options here. It's just, are they mechanically good enough to make it work?
It's going to be heavily, heavily, heavily on the shoulders of this Vayne, right? That's kind of where the burden will lie if she's able to keep slipping these skill shots, if she's able to keep navigating and closing that gap. Tanks are tank suggestions at that point. It doesn't matter how many armor, like how many resistances you stack, how much DR you possess, you'll still be blown apart. But the same can be said if she doesn't get in, like you said, it's a Vel'Koz combo away from just tragedy. Sure, you can cleanse the Amumu, but you can't cleanse health bar hitting 0.
Exactly. If you're on the death screen, you're on the death screen for quite a while. I was taking a look at the op.ggs. That's why I'm looking over in this direction. I don't really see any Vayne games coming out from them. Either they're playing on a second account and they're not showing us, they don't really play this champion. So it's going to be exciting to see if the AD carry can come through and show us something that we haven't seen. Because one thing that First Stand has taught us a lot is that League of Legends in recent patches will be going over to a more heavy, I guess, scaling style now.
Heavy scaling style, or just win hard enough that you get to the late game in a whole hurry. But Summoner's Rift on screen, DCUB taking on the Gibbons. Vayne locked in. This is going to be exciting. And hang on a second. Can we just point something out?
Yep.
You have the op.ggs up right now.
Yeah.
Do you recognize the support player for DCUB?
DCUB. He doesn't exist. In game.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
In-game?
it's on! Let's go! Okay, all right. Give me a second here. For everybody who doesn't know, right, my journey through this Irish Collegiate Series was I was invited to cast for natives, met this wonderful guy called Sandbag, my co-caster, an actual Irish individual, and I met all of his friends, the people he went to DCU with, had experiences. One of those people he introduced me to is this support Ox, somebody who, honestly, I think is really above expectations. I can't remember, did he play for the Natives team?
He was on the Natives Academy, yeah. The UKEL Div 2 games into the playoffs.
This is something that we should actually go a little bit more in detail about, because a player like Oct is somebody who is through and through an Irish collegiate talent from start to finish, somebody who had the opportunity to go on the Natives team. And the biggest goal is, if you are good enough at League of Legends, maybe you can get on towards a team in an actual regional league like the UKEL. So it could be exciting to see if Oct can do something here and find themselves a league, because he's very much known for his early game pressure and especially his tank engage supports.
Absolutely. The Maokai merchant himself. This is where I have to set it aside, though, right? We got to refocus up, remain unbiased, remain professional. I am definitely not wearing the DCU merch as we speak. I am a professional, and I would have no alliances whatsoever.
Yeah. A little bit of an engage towards the bot lane. Level 2, nice poke from the Melio, though. The big thing that we do have to mention, then, is that TUD Apes stealing away that Maokai makes a lot more sense in the draft phase.
On a ward is scary, though, and it's going to be a flash Q forwards heal for the move speed, and in they go. Rel down. Raven cares not about nameplates. TUD Gibbons picking up first blood in the bot lane.
It's an absolute horror that the one player we're hyping up as Irish collegiate talent is the one to die instantly. The only thing I will say is it's an absolutely abhorrent matchup to play the Rel into. You can never engage because you have to condemn from the Vayne, and then also you have to Q from the Melio, so it's actually impossible.
You forget about the power we wield, Zeth. The microphone in hand, the caster curse was
even worse
on this
both
one.
Of us. We are the
Exactly.
caster curse.
Q flash knockdown out of Valkyrie. It's going to get a summoner spell out of Scallywag in return for 2 of Octzone.
Yeah, Oct finding it difficult in the early game, but at least he's able to find something towards the mid lane. We're going to have to see if this next 5 minutes will get Scallywag to die again, because you see the Amumu and the Vel'Koz combination. If they can find something in the mid lane, they could truly start to snowball. But a little bit harder before that level 6 mark. Really well played by Mordekaiser as well, being able to understand that I have high priority towards the top side. Let me stack a few waves and just try to bully out the Amumu a little bit.
Yeah, and with DD not having the smite to just knock it down, it was at 1k, too long to stick around, but too low to really try and fight over. And as a result, it's just so much time wasted walking back to an empty wolf camp, back to Gromp, back to Blue, and lots of steps for no reason. And Maokai looking to take the raps as a result.
Yeah, going to be able to get something on the map here as a little bit more trading towards the top side. But we talk about this bot lane, how the Vayne and the Emilio are absolutely dominant. The only way that DCU can maybe find a play is by poking them out. The only problem is Emilio W is healing, and if we look at the first item from this Vayne as well, it's a Vampiric Scepter. They're just going to heal up anything that this Ezreal tries to do.
As here comes Duck looking to punish. Remember, no flash from the previous play. The crash down is knocked out of, and Rel falls for a second time. Pre-5. One more for those feats of strength.
It's just an absolute horror, isn't it? The wave is pushing away from DCU, so they have to walk up to push this out. Because of that, Oct has to step up and dies again for his sins. Let's see if DCU can start to huddle this in a little bit. Level 6 is going to be a major power spike for this bot lane. Maybe there's an opportunity for a play there. But so far, I think they might just have to scale to the late game here.
Yeah, it might take some time, however. That is going to be flash spent in the mid lane. We pan there, and the fight is immediately over underneath tower. No mana on Voltaic makes this a very awkward spot. Exhaust pop to try and negate as much damage as possible, but all out of cards. Voltaic falls, making that 3 kills to 0. The Gibbons picking up that first feat.
Yeah, really nice play. And Mimu again looking towards this mid lane, seeing if he can try to alleviate a little bit of pressure. But with that Vel'Koz so low, all you could do is get him in XP range. And this TUD Ape side is just absolutely dominating this game. 5-3, looking so much stronger than that here.
Absolutely. This is technically this is the higher seed, right? This is also the team who is one extra win in the standings, as Rel does get the cancel off thanks to that Q. Holding Raven in place for a moment, but be careful what you bite off. This is Vayne continuing to walk forward with those silver bolts. Ignite, popped, cleansed away. Raven falls and they get the 2v2 kill. No way for Melio to hustle out of there, overstepping and jumped on. DCU avenged the previous pair.
Yeah, you may have had the Vampiric Scepter, but you need quite a few auto attacks to get a lot of healing for it. And the TUD Apes bot lane just overstay. They should have just pushed out the wave, found themselves a reset, and now with 1 kill over towards the Ezreal and 1 over towards Oct, there's a huge potential for them to maybe start bouncing back this bot lane. But so far, nothing much going to happen from that, as TUD Apes still going to be able to get that dragon with the priority of the Vayne and Melio coming back into lane.
I'm just going to walk back as Ezreal finishes up their recall alongside a Corki, who's able to march on in, get a ward down, and there's no contest here available for the DCU side. TUD just going to be happy picking that up.
I don't want to harp too much onto Oct because we've already talked a lot about him, but that swiftness boots by on Rel.
That is swiftness, and he is going to use every single one of those move speed molecules here to crash down towards Scallywag. Remember, no mana, no flash, and burnt apart. Laser doesn't do it. And the tip of the spear will have to claim it. Rel putting those Swifties to great use.
Yeah, I didn't know the game. You do get a little bit less tanky, maybe thinking that armor boots don't really matter against the Vayne, as the damage will just be coming through anyway. Oct made a great play before, but does need to be careful with the Maokai behind him.
It also remember removes, or doesn't remove, it minimizes the effects of slows. So when you're in dismount form, you're actually a champion again. You don't have Cinderblack strapped to your feet. Meanwhile, ultimate's going to be thrown out here from this Maokai. Mumu en route. Does this tree have enough to get the squid down on the spot? Rocket in. Scallywag's going to try and find the alley-oop in two-man ultimate, and Henry B gets the setup, gets the kill, and gets the exit. Final rocket down to single digits, but does not fall. And DCU coming back to life.
And we talked about that combination. If you can lock them down, Vel'Koz has that damage. So in the 2v1, picking up 1 kill, and it's so important it went over towards that Vel'Koz. Another play.
Be careful rolling forwards here, eating a lot of CC and half the health bar as a result. As Raven is going to need that Vamp Scepter to keep on top in the HP.
Yeah, DCU, if they can go for these burst trades, they will be winning out as play towards top.
Sante is going to go all out onto Ninja here. Meanwhile, other side of the map is going to be a fight on 2 fronts. Raven disengaging, condemning away. Mord in the Death Realm thinks better of this fight. He's going to call it off as both sides scrap it out, but neither falls.
Yeah, TUD Apes having a fantastic first 5 minutes, but now DCU having a bit of a comeback. 2v2 towards the mid lane has encouraged these side lanes to start winning out as Cassante not finding the kill, but most importantly, getting that Death Realm out, so we'll be safe for quite a while. And towards his bot lane as well, Oct, once he starts getting a few levels under his belt, he's not going to be easily bursted out. He can go for these trades and start to win them with the Ezreal.
And we'll just keep pulling the trigger over and over and over any opportunity that's presented. Meanwhile, Valking forwards, no mana, just the auto attacks left, and here comes DD. Laser is back up, life form, disintegration ray. Henry B baits in beautifully, picking up another kill on the opposite number.
How depressed do you think Scallywag is? He's winning out in the 1v1s, getting some incredible trades, getting Vel'Koz almost dead 2 times in a row, and then you just see a banish toss in your face and there's nothing you can do anymore.
It's also the porcelain skin, so all you just hear is the clinkety clonkety sound effects while it's just the little mummy is walking at you. It's infuriating, right? 0-2, arguably not undeserved if you're able to get in isolation, but it's a team game.
I think it is one of the best skins for Amumu. I think the base one, just a sad mummy. I don't know, there's something special about it.
I do not like the sound effects.
Okay, I think the party Amumu skin is the best one.
Surprise party goes hard. I'll give you that one.
Because, to be honest, I get surprised my full team just gets stun locked into a 5-man Amumu ult.
Surprise party, as both the fiddle and the Amumu are pretty S tier, I will say. But looping back around, I see a Maokai finding a meander towards this bot lane.
Yeah, he's looking to try and go in towards this bot lane push. He's already have the wards for that. And so I'm always scared about this top lane. Whenever top lanes do this, I'm so scared they're going to go for one auto attack and just die on the tower.
Yeah, you were a misclick away from complete disaster in this case.
Because I know I would do it at that point.
Just try and trade back on muscle memory. Meanwhile, returning to the scene of the crime, once again knocked out a Valkyrie. Scallywag can't catch a break. Rel is just living in his walls. Meanwhile, there's a potential dive. Chipex gonna try and fight his way out of a 1v2. Vayne trying to put the shots in, but Ezreal gets them both down. Outplayed! DCU's marksman makes them look goofy.
And it was fantastic coming out from Ezreal. He understands that if he stood near the wall down towards the bot side, he was just going to get taken out as top lane.
Exhaust and All Out both popped here. Death Realm, it's going to be a 2v1 as soon as he pops out of Brazil. Plane tickets already booked. Here comes Duck. Perhaps a re-engage, but they call it off, and that's just going to be ult for ult, flash for exhaust, everybody pressing everything up top.
Yeah, TUD were meant to be favorites in this game. They looked like it early on, but 3 kills on the Ezreal, 3 kills on the Vel'Koz. These outplays are starting to add up. As we talked about the Ezreal, how strong he can be once he gets towards that Sheen. That's been purchased very close towards that Trinity Force as well. And yes, TUD Apes will be getting themselves some Void Grubs, but DCU are looking mighty strong this early game.
Absolutely, and they're keeping pace and exceeding the pace. Granted, only a 1k gold lead at this point in time. It's going to be Grubs and Drake traded out once more. More fighting to be had here as Rel en route, but 2 men here to reinforce. This time Scallywags had enough of the ganks, calling in the cavalry of his own as everybody walks on out. Amumu, right-hand side of your screen, potentially fishing around. Stun here from the Rel, knocked back in with W. It's going to be Maokai. Junglers clashing. Meanwhile, Vel'Koz falls to the damage. Breath of Life is beautiful. Getting the top-up Scally needs. DD forced backwards, and TUD coming out on top of the 3v2 mid lane.
Yeah, the big thing the TUD Apes wanted to grab was this mid lane tower. It opens up the map so much. Could start going for the plays with the Maokai ultimate later to get these outer side towers. And DCU just a little bit of an overstep, thinking that they can still go for the play when they should have just backed off, stayed safe. You scale perfectly fine into this game. And with that overstep, TUD yet again back into the driver's seat of this game.
It's a back and forth affair. However, in the case of Tower falling, that is the completed feats of strength, upgraded boots already acquired for this vein. So making the skill shot slipping just a modicum easier.
Yeah, Vane's one of those champions want to get the boots as fast as possible. You can slip around like you talked about before, but most importantly, helps with your auto attacks. Melio should hopefully begin Ardent Sensor second, and then we'll start really seeing this Vane start to pop off, as they are the main damage source later on. Are they able to find an outplay here? I still find it difficult to see with the amount of CC from the Rel and the Amumu.
CC and also borderline unconditional CC, however, getting behind. Voltaic not quite able to get the ultimate back in. Does not pull the trigger on that, but yes, bandage toss, dodgeable. Curse of the Sad Mummy, Magnet Storm, not really. Those two will be finding you, and you must address them. Cleanse and ult, definitely required.
The funny thing is, though, if they ever want to go for a fight quickly, I can just see Mordekaiser ulting the Amumu standing in there and just saying, hey, please use your ultimate on me.
Staring at him.
How interesting would it be if you were in a Mordekaiser ultimate and abilities wouldn't just hit in the ultimate, they would hit outside of it, but you would be able to like auto attack? So you could randomly like a Mumu R and hit everybody by accident.
I can only imagine what a Katarina ult inside Death Realm would look like. Like, Katarina ults, you Death Realm it, and then now nobody can hit the Katarina who's ulting.
Imagine you could use it on your own champions as well. Then that would be bonkers.
Meanwhile, speaking of bonkers, two-man Magna Storm and Mumu is going to find the AoE afterwards. Ezreal picking up Melio, TP in. Raven's only down to 400 HP, so a disengage soon to come. In comes Scallywag, Mumu falls. More TPs to the bot lane. It's a whole party down here. Oct isn't going to be able to escort Chipbacks down. Both solo laners turn up, and full 5-man stack for TUD down bot lane.
And their goal is to get these kills and especially get this bot lane tower. See Enrib and the top lane of Baltic.
And they will continue to march on in. TP channel barrier spent and burst shut down. Ezreal's now going to try and find his way back to the Death Realm. Ninja ulting up Rel. It's going to be a 2v1 on the right-hand side of your screen. Cassante goes all out. Scallywag is the target. Oct stunning, kiting away, breaking the shield of that W thanks to that shattering strike. As here comes Cassante's re-engage. Footwork in. Grass proc shut down. Cassante is able to relink with Rel. And everybody is joining the party.
Yeah, TUD Apes getting the Talon towards the bot lane, even trade gold-wise. But I just noticed something. Voltic has exhaust on Cassante, and I absolutely love this. You have a dash with the W in your kit. That exhaust goes incredibly well in, of course, that Mordekaiser Death Realm, where you might not be able to kill him, but at least he can't kill you. And because he used it in that last fight to stop the KOKA damage, he was able to turn it around, find the kill on towards that Mordekaiser, and DCU are coming with a fight back as TUDs keep trying to push the pace of this game.
Yeah, game absolutely hanging in the balance, and what we had said, hold that point, is Duck doesn't actually send it there. I'm surprised. There was no luck here out of the Maokai.
No, it's a Mimi and Rel towards the bot side in the river. There was an opportunity where if they went on towards Vel'Koz, they'd just re-engage as well and could have turned the fight. Still think it was the right play to maybe look for it there, but with another major objective up for the team, we'll have to see if they want to contest it. Dragons up in the next 20 seconds, one apiece. I think that's probably the best objective to go for.
Remembering that every single TP in the game got pressed. So whoever turns up with their own feet are the only members invited to this one.
And when your main carry, the Vayne, is topside, I'm not sure that TUD Apes even want to show up towards the party. So most likely, DCU going to be able to pick that up for free. However, how much are they going to lose? They're keeping Vayne top and they're still fighting it?
Potentially. They're sniffing around and clearing some vision at least. Remember, underneath the tower, it's going to be Vayne and Vel'Koz and auto on the tower. No Raven. One auto in the difference, and an auto that went astray is all that it took for the Vel'Koz to win out, picking up the solo kill thanks to all sums and ult.
Yeah, and you could see why in my head I thought it was a little bit messy. Vayne staying towards the top side, looking for the solo play. It's another fight.
Not done yet. All out over the wall. Ninja's going to pop his own ultimate, this time onto the Rel. Magnet Storm channeling. 4 members will appear as soon as Rel pops out. Here comes more in the re-engage. Bandit Toss knocked down. Re-engage potential here, but it's going to be Melio knocking him away, keeping him at arm's distance, and no one hitting the dirt on that one.
Yeah, but you're going to be able to stay alive. Velcro's all alone towards the top side. Might be able to get a tower, but with 3 members around this Rift Hill, TUD Apes coming out victorious, picking up this objective. But TUD, they're looking pretty strong. It's just sometimes one player is just on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, arguably.
Some people
in this
like
case,
vacations.
DCU and TUD both allocated 1 member up into that top side. This is a nasty trap. This is just a nasty, nasty trap. The man's just trying to take the Gromp, and it's going to be smited away here. Rel getting eat in by this Mordekaiser as members pile in from left, right, and center. DD is knocked down, flashing away, but only to be mopped up by Raven. Condemned into the wall. Henry B now is on the returning end of this fight. 1 more silver bolt for the auto, and that's a double kill. TUD mop up 3 in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, Ezreal might be able to get him out to safety with the E. No flash available with the Maokai, but a great play from TD Apes, and especially the AD carry Raven having a redemption arc against Henry B towards the top side. Top lane tower getting taken out. A little bit more gold towards your vein, and now this gold lead is at a 4,000 gold lead mark at the TD Apes. It's been a bit messy, but it's still very much in the lead here.
Mopping up a handful of shutdowns, mopping up some structure gold. They're really starting to turn the screws and starting to turn the corner in this game.
And the 2 item power spikes are coming through. You've got the 2 items on the Vayne, the place you really want her to be to start dealing the damage. 2 on the Corki as well, 2.5 actually, with that recent reset. While on the opposite side, there's only 1 member who has 2 items, and he hasn't finished that Mirror Mana, and that is Chipax, the AD carry.
Yeah, and it's not, like you said, it's still, what, 51 blue away from trying to finish this one off. You really can't tell if this Rel is supposed to be laning bot or mid, right? The entire game has just been hanging out between the two, trying to just be a thorn in Scally's side. That is a big phosphorus bomb.
Yeah, I really like that chunk there, making it hard for the Velcros to walk up. One thing that's important for both of these teams is being first at these objectives. The enemy team finds it very difficult to walk into. Somebody can get bursted out, and DCU now have to be the ones to look to go in.
EP channel, Velka is nowhere to be seen here. 4K, DD's going to be jumping on in. They finish it off before the jungler can even pop out. It's going to be Maokai grabbing that one up, and here comes more, picking up the first. Kasante goes out, goes down. Magnet Storm does nothing. Chipex will be chased down, and his final hour has arrived. This is the rest of TUD's marksman's kills. It's just a matter of win, not if. 4 for 0, Atakan on top.
It's just the itemization differences. 2 items compared to 1.5. TUD Apes coming out on top in that fight. And the most important thing is Mordekaiser you see on your screens. He ulted away the Amumu, meaning that he couldn't steal away that Atakan. So yet again, find themselves another kill. And TUD Apes are completely wiping DCU now.
That's an unofficial ace, and Atakan on top. You were talking about a 4K gold lead. Double it and give it to the next person. We're looking towards far more.
Yeah, it's a difficult game for sure. When I'm thinking about ways back into this, they do have a very good hard engaged composition, but they're going against a Maokai who can just ult away. They're going against a Melio that can say, yeah, you're good. I'm about to cleanse it. So I think the best opportunities is maybe find a pick on the Corki on the side lanes, Vayne on the side lanes as well. But TUD have done such a good job in this mid to late game to start just clumping up together as a team. Never give DCU an opportunity to find these picks.
Yep, no way of exploiting individual members. They've been able to retain their mid T1, so you can't even split them chipbacks. This is a brave stance to be taken here, walking into range of Ninja. That's a 2-item more than melee range, and you will pay the price for that decision. Ninja continues to give chase. Asante might be able to scare them away here and provide a little bit of disengage as the Rel can crash down over the wall, whatever.
I mean, that hurts, doesn't it? He went towards the mid lane, trying to get the mid lane tower, thinking one more auto attack would do it. It needed to. He tries to E out to safety, and because it was a bit of both, not getting the tower, dying for it. And that second dragon going over to TUD Apes without any contestation.
Knock down the blast cone here. Ultimate still available as Ninja and DD do battle in the realm. Hanging out, stepping away from the queue. The Decimate's going wide so far, but the rest of the autos aren't dodgeable. Vayne popping the ultimate, yanked in with the Mortys. Henry will fall. K'Sante trying to get himself a little bit of something back. All out and falls instantly to the burst damage. That is 3 in quick succession as TUD look to crack open this mid T2.
And this Mordekaiser has been so huge this game. Anyone that goes into the Death Realm, they are just going to get taken out. So we have to head towards the mid lane. They're looking to crack open this base.
When your Melio feels confident enough to take Shelly on a bit of a ride, that says a lot about where this game is looking, as even the inhib not safe from those giant purple claws.
Yeah, the power of the mid-jungle duo we talked about, both of them being dead. Of course, Melio can walk in and do what they want, but this Mordekaiser, that ultimate has been so useful in these team fights, ulting away the Amumu, not given the chance for that huge engage. And now that they got themselves a huge lead, they're able to hold it with the amount of pressure that a Maokai and a Melio can hold at creating space in this game.
Faced by 2-level lead so far here, as Duck's able to run away with more of DD's camps. And this game is starting to get further and further out of reach. 10K about to be crested. The Gibbons on the warpath.
Yeah, 10,000 gold as well. It's so difficult to try and play it here. Maybe they could scale into the game that I constantly talk about, but they need to play these team fights to perfection, this front to back, poke out the Vayne, because if there's ever a possibility of everybody hitting at the same time, TD Apes will just be wiping them. Baron in hand, vision incredible from the TUD Apes. DCU can see absolutely nothing here. You can see Oct being scared of doing it. K'Sante might be getting a tower, but this Baron's just been started.
Your darkness to try and face check. Remember, we were wanting one combo and one combo along Curse of the Sad Mummy and Disintegration Ray. We wanted Vel and Amumu to link up, and over the course of this game, how many times have we seen that official combo come through? Raven popping ultimate, flashing forwards. K'Sante waiting over the wall. The trap is laid, but not enough burst. They just ignore the Vel and rip through K'Sante. Raven goes legendary, and can need shy. He's gonna just keep his AD free fire into their heart's content.
Oh, Raven's out the 3-item power spike. The amount of healing coming out from Melio as well, having the 2 items as well. Faye's just impossible to kill. And now that she has the damage, Giant's belt on top of it, I'm not even sure if they can burst her out after that next item is done. So it's such a short window to make this happen. And you talked about DD and Henry B and how they could combo together. The options are there, but with the Melio combo always there at the Vayne, even if they try to find the CC on top, it's just going to be cleansed. Mordekai's going to ult them away. And now we're starting to see the power of this draft against the DCU comp.
Absolutely. When it's buoyed by gold behind it, and you can't simply one-shot the member who's trying to walk through damage, because that's the whole concept of range, right? Is you keep them honest and you keep them at arm's distance. Raven just marched through the laser. And at that point, range doesn't mean very much.
Yeah, it's a big engage.
They might try and find the Maokai, and they do get a sum, so cold comfort, but small comfort at least, as we might be getting an instant replay of that one.
Yeah, we might be able to see the engage yet again, but as we have a quick moment to talk about it, there's just this overlooming pressure from DCU. They know that they have to make a play sooner rather than later. They are getting outscaled, and it's just so difficult to go for these front-to-back team fighting comps. Yes, if you find a lead, they can be incredible, but at this level, it's so much easier just to have those instant engages. You talk about the Amumu, we talk about the Maokai as well. These champions, they will always do what they need to do no matter what.
And the Amumu is forced into a stopwatch early. Stasis can only buy you a moment, as Raven is now going to be putting some shots into this tower. Scallywag linking up and more than happy to lead the charge into DCU's base. Where can you draw the line?
Oh, they need to do it here, but how they meant to? They don't have their jungler.
Okay, ultimate thrown out and absorbed here by Voltaic, so they will at least continue to fend off the advances. 20 seconds on DD still. The Amumu is a long way from rejoining.
Yeah, and DCU have to start to question, how did they get themselves in the position? Sure, they're the underdogs coming into this, but they had a really good 5 to 10 minutes after the first 5 minutes. 5 to 15 was when they were looking really solid. But after that, TUD Apes just coming out stronger, and with one inhibitor open towards the mid lane, one outer tower towards top and one outer tower towards bot lane, this Baron, they should start to try and use it to crack open the base. It's only hard to do so. The amount of wave clear you have with the Ezreal and the Vel'Koz, the range advantage at least keeps them in this game.
Keeps them in it for now. It is a slowly sinking ship, but they are chucking buckets of water out as swift as they possibly can. Here is DD and Ninja on another collision course. This Amumu has been on the receiving end of that mace more times than I can count.
And it's really difficult because Amumu's trying to hold his ultimate for a major team fight, but he just needs to use it straight away against the Mordekaiser, give an opportunity for the CC to land, so at least you can try and take this team fight.
Sante is going to be walking into the oncoming tides of TUD, and I'm not sure how advisable that is as members continue to give chase. He does still have his exhaust. He has his ult if he wants to kick over the wall. Unstoppable. He'll fly, and he explodes through it. The DR doesn't do a damn thing as he falls once more, and TUD look to crack open this exposed inhib.
You could tell it's absolute desperation because Sante wants to contest it. Ezreal's going for the reset as well. And even now in the death realm, we know what happens.
Arcane Shift does not buy the space required, and he's gonna burn to a crisp, and just like that, TUD going from looking for inhib to looking for end. Crash down, pull in, eating tower shots left, right, and center, and it is all for naught. This Vayne is untouchable. Triple kill to Raven, the ace complete, and in basically bang on 30 minutes, TUD Apes are gonna be picking up the win.
Yeah, for the first 20 minutes, the game started looking close until TUD Apes woke up. That Vayne got those 2 items. They started taking over this team fight. DCU, they didn't fall over. They tried their best. They tried to get themselves back into the game. It just felt like it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, you were trying to find a way of bridging the gap between that beautiful 5, 10, 15 minutes and then into the mid game, and there seemed to be a separation between those 2 points.
And I think draft has a huge impact of this. I think if the drafts were more even, 100% DCU could have had an opportunity in this game. When you add Emilio to stop that engage, everything they tried to get the game going, we saw Oct especially go towards the mid lane after bot lane didn't work out, get back into the game, find kills on towards the Vel'Koz. Yes, they found 4 kills onto them, but after that, they found no more. There was always Emilio, there was always a disengage like a Maokai ultimate coming through, and because of that, DCU wasn't able to pull the trigger, get themselves a big enough lead, and Vayne just took over that game at that 30-minute mark. They kind of floundered out after.
We were talking about the range disparity, if they could get in, and it's a little bit easier to get in when you can right-click enemy members and let your Emilio carry you in towards it. That does tend to streamline things.
Yeah, but expectations is exactly what we expected. We thought they would be a little bit more one-sided, so really well done towards DCU to make the game a lot closer. But this is a big win for one of the teams, get yourself towards 6 of 3, but another one being 4 and 5. And remember that golden number we talked about at the start of the stream? If DCU was able to win here, they 100% guarantee playoffs. Now, I think it's all up in the air.
Yeah, we're going to have to try and go to the full D sheet to do our old friend Buchholz, and tie breaks on tie breaks on tie breaks. Who is going to end up on that one? But we are going to be cutting to a quick break to do some mental math to get everything sorted out. One more BO1 on the cards. Locking playoffs at the end of this. You're in or you're out. You do or you die. One more game to left to be played. We'll see you guys right after this.
hours of pain. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Fields of the fallen, blood-washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world apart. You came for our suffering. So we'll bleed, cut us deep, find the death that you seek. But just remember, we retreat, but we live on. Those that die aren't forgotten. Just remember. Gone is our home now, it's only memories. Vi sörger, vi sörger. Looking onto a life that can never be. What did you believe? Believe you would find. And so you have torn this world apart. You came for our suffering. So bleed, cut us deep, find the death that you seek. Just remember, we retreat, but we live on. Those that die aren't forgotten. Just remember. So we'll die and we'll fall here. We're lie torn and broken. Die but will not be forgotten. We remain and we stand here. So we bleed, cut us deep, find the death that you seek. Just remember, we retreat, but we live on. Those that die aren't forgotten. Just remember. So we bleed, cut us deep, find the death that you seek. Just remember. We retreat, but we live on. Those that die aren't forgotten. Just
Welcome back to the Ireland Esports Collegiate Series League of Legends edition. I am still Sandbag. Still joining me is Zathos, and one more best of one playoffs on the line. QUB Black Cats taking on UCD Leviathans B. Win and in, lose and whatever the rhyme with lose is. Zath, how are you
Their
feeling?
backs are against the wall. They need to win. If they don't, they're out forever. Or at least a split, we can say that. QUB versus UCD, two titans of the Irish Collegiate Series. At least that's what the players were saying in the chat. They seem as nonchalant as ever, and I'm disappointed because I'm hyped up This is an important game. You win, you're in. You lose, you might be out. We're not 100% on that part. Wiggler's team, sandbag. Wiggler's team.
Mhm.
It's important,
Wiggler's
isn't it?
The Wiggy Wanderer rebrand was a success, and the somehow less serious username to be coming out of that, QUB, UCD. This is the big moment, right? Not only before we launch into draft here, not only is this the last game of playoffs, before playoffs, this is my last call. I'm going to be away from the desk. I'm going to be away from the microphone for the entire section of playoffs. So we got to end this one with the bang. This better be a banger here.
Yeah, I love how behind the scenes you're like, I need to be hyped up for next game. It's so important to me. It's going to be the last game for you this season. It's going to be the last game for maybe some of these players this season as well. High expectations, even with all the joking around. Maybe they're just trying to mask the excitement they have for this game. Picks and bans are coming through. Seeming like UCD, the Titans, completely agree that Skarner is still very strong if you don't have a good counteraction towards it. Well, QUB banning away the set, banning away that Nautilus. And to be honest, I just want to see Wiggler's Aurelion Soul.
The ASOL is vintage. I feel like it might not be Blue 1 capabilities at this point in time, right? He's been knocked down a couple of times. It could happen, but I don't expect it to be such high priority as the rest of the bans. Set, Nautilus, and the Zillion going to be taken away alongside that aforementioned Scorpion, and the Blue Man himself, Rise, taken away.
Oh, Zillion's so toxic to go against. You have a volley bear in the jungle, you have a heck of him, and you're just going to be running over the enemy team. But can we just talk about how mad these bans are? When's the last time you saw Nautilus banned away, a Zillion, or a set in the first three? Fiddlesticks and Rise as well. We have a first pick Pantheon, which in their defense, I absolutely love. Able to be played in 4 different lanes, flexibility, especially towards the jungle recently.
Yeah, Dakin's been playing a handful of Pantheon games, and I say recent past. It's still been played. You have the flexibility, probably leaning towards jungle, but you're able to move it around, and you can't counterpick what you don't know about. Answered with the flavor of the month, the Darius going to be locked in for UCD.
Yeah, this actually really stepped me up in solo queue because I thought it was a Darius jungle because you talked about being the flavor of the month, but still very much flexible towards the top side. Remember, Adam, somebody who plays in the LEC, loves this champion, very viable if you have a decent matchup for it. So I expect UCD to be holding out a very long while before picking a top laner or, of course, a jungler as well. But talking about maybe a top laner, Karma's getting locked in here.
Maybe is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. I expect it to be slotted into that support role. But again, we live in a world where you can kind of just pick stuff. And at some point, 2/3 of the way through the draft, you go, okay, actually, let's allocate these into lanes. But if you have champs and you have players more specifically, you're able to flex these on flex these on flex these. Syndra going to be the answer here, and a reasonable, stable blind mid. Solid.
Okay. Importantly, I want QUB to pick as much disengage as possible. The reason for it is take a look at the bans. We see Nautilus banned away hard engage, being banned away the Zillion to stop the increased movement speed. This Darius, if it's jungle, will be going Yomu's, going to hit the exact same thing which UCD want. And yes, you would rather have the Zillion. They still have that Karma for that instant movement speed as well. So QUB, they know exactly what UCD want to do. Do they have enough disengaged potential with their team comp? Maybe Maokai could be high in priority. And 9 UCD, they very much want to go in. And with these first 3 picks, they're definitely doing that.
Yeah, they have drafted themselves the tools to do it. You have the Kai'Sa who's going to be diving in as soon as that lockdown comes through. You know, a stray W, perhaps. You're going to be able to join the Darius on his escapades into enemy backlines, waiting for that Noxian might to be stacking on up, the bleed to be coming through. And I am very curious where these bans are targeted, what bead both of these teams have drawn on each other of where we think this Pantheon is going.
For me, Pantheon jungle, most likely the situation very good in towards the Darius in burst trades. If it is just a 1v1, Darius will be winning out. But in my head, I'm mostly thinking about the bans here because QUB ban away the Braum, very simple, seem like they want to go forward, tank, engage, support. But in my head, Jana goes so hard for QUB here.
And it does go so hard for QUB
Does.
here, right? You got the monsoon bump, you got the NATO disengage. I like it. You're trying to play with
Trading
the
towards the
Ezreal
Karma
AD.
as well. The only thing I'm
Yeah.
concerned about is that QB are going to force themselves to go hard engage and trying to build a team comp that on paper should really work out, but not pivoting it towards what UCD have. We see the TK band away, meaning that they want to have a bit more of an aggressive bot lanes. I'm having this feeling like this Karma isn't support. I don't know why. I have a hard feeling that this might be a Karma mid against the Syndra. Definite possibilities of that. I'm not going to say anything just yet, but that's my predictions.
Yeah, in the back of your mind, right? You're always keeping those options open as the final ban of this game is going to be the Mordekaiser. So another one of those juggernauts found great success in the previous game. Taking notes, they're going to be taking that away here as the potential lock-in of a Lissandra to join the potential dive.
Yeah, going for the potential dive there. Melio has really risen in priority in my head here. Able to see it in the last game, the amount of power it has with that cleanse of an ultimate. But seeming like they're not wanted to put Pantheon towards the jungle. Can do solidly up towards the top side. My only big concern, if they do lock in this Wukong, is if Pantheon goes towards the support lane, which he can do, yes, he can get on towards Kai'Sa, but that Karma is going to be hurting in that early game.
Absolutely. You're going to be just continuing to poke out. A small tangent about the Karma. The more successful build currently is the Emax Enchanter, Moonstone style. However, building AP and hit someone with empowered Q is a dopamine. So I can understand the pivot, but the more successful pick, Wukong top.
Yeah,
Appears
that's
to
what
be
I was
the call.
about to say. Unless we're having some like Wukong mid lane and like Pantheon top and Syndra support, Wukong should be up in top lane here. An incredible champion towards the Darius, as Darius likes to go in, deal all his damage, and keep on fighting, while Wukong can go in, bonk you on the head, W straight back out to safety. Cyclone as well gives you that safety. As the Volibear will be locked in as that last pick, it can be. I don't even like this, honestly. Like, I was thinking about Volibear and being like, oh yeah, UCD, you're doing great with the draft. Sure, you get the movement speed from Karma, but Ezreal's E out to safety. You have Syndra scattered a week to get out. You have Pantheon with the E and the W for a stun and walk away. But most importantly, in that 1v1 against the Nocturne as well, what can he do? He can just E your Q and walk out to safety and win the 1v1. Like, every single champion has an answer for Volibear. The question is, can QUB execute it properly where they disengage? Because Volibear on his own, yes, isn't good into QUB, but start adding the Lissandra stun, Darius movement speed with the empowered E from the Karma, we can see how UCD Leviathans have completely changed their comp but kept the same style.
Question though. We are on 25.5, correct? Live patch?
Yes,
Is
we
this
will be
the
on that.
Darius jungle nerf? Because I know they're going to be knocking down his jungle mod. I don't think it is, right?
I don't
So,
think it is. I think it's next patch.
How do you feel about inverting those two picks? Volley up in the top lane, Darius in the jungle.
I think it has. It's hard. It's hard because Nocturne's 100% jungle. Darius would be winning out against Nocturne in the 1v1. The only problem is, how is Darius meant to find that 1v1? Unless he goes for the ghost to run him down, Nocturne could just E Darius's E and then is able to just walk out to safety. So everything for UCD Leviathans is not going to be about the 1v1s. It's going to be about the collective game plan. Maybe looking for the mid lane, most likely, with the Lissandra. If you can knock up that Syndra, find some early kills with the Volibear or the Darius jungle, that's the way for UCD Leviathans to find the lead. While for QUB, they have quite a weird comp because they have very hard engage with the Pantheon and Nocturne to do some backlane tower diving, but you're doing that into a Lissandra. It starts getting very difficult because QUB with Wukong, Ezreal, and Syndra, they want to front to back. Pantheon and Nocturne want to go in. So a little bit weird in that category in my head.
I mean, you've also got the double globals, right? Nocturne Pantheon, you can kind of just pile in on members. Particularly, I'm saying towards this mid lane, where Pantheon's making roams, Nocturne's ganking with ultimate, Ezreal's chucking out a random just true shot barrage. You can all of a sudden find yourself taking damage from 4 champions in a whole hurry.
Yeah. And the most important thing as well, I think this game is going to be an absolute bloodbath. I think at 10 minutes, we're at least going to have 10 kills, most likely up and towards the 15 at that point. I think there will just be fighting, fighting, and fighting. And if they do want to play more civilized, something that in the Irish Collegiate Series, they're very much known for fighting, level 6 is going to be a huge power spike for both of these teams. We talked about the global ultimates, Nocturne on top of maybe a Pantheon Flash. Somebody's going to die there. Maybe engaging towards the mid lane, Scatter the Weak, Syndra ultimate on top. Someone's dying there. And even on the opposite side, Darius ultimate, Lysandra lockdown, even that Body Bear ultimate for those tower dives. I think once level 6 hits, this game is going to be completely open to just pure mechanical skill.
Oh, absolutely. With the exception of the supports who aren't even going to be hitting it at the same time, these are massive go buttons, right? Darius with and without the Noxian Guillotine is a very different champion. Volibear with and without the unstoppability, because you said earlier, beware the scatter, right? Syndra is going to be able to knock you back, stun you, displace you. If you have an unstoppable, all of a sudden that is a no movement mage with an angry bear. That is a very, very short fight in a whole hurry.
Yeah, we all know what happens if a normal human goes against a bear. The bear absolutely wallops you, unless you know a way to try and stun it and get yourself out towards safety. So this game, a lot on the line for both of the teams. I know we joked about them behind the scenes feeling a little bit relaxed. There's a lot of pressure here, of course. We know Wiggler, he's been able to get himself towards those finals many of times, being a coach for the last QUB team. But can they do it again? Of course, there won't be live finals, but that doesn't stop the importance of this game.
Yeah, you're looking to progress one way or another, whether it is hosted on land, online, or elsewhere in between those 2 points. You still want to make it, right? You want to continue your progression in the competition. You want the bragging rights. You want to keep it pushing. And so I suppose this is where I throw it to you. Where are we feeling? You said somewhat harshly, QUB had a bit of a mishmash, bits and pieces, Build-A-Bear comp. My words, not yours.
I
versus
appreciate that,
versus UCD, who are just going to press their keys on the Darius and say, "Go get him, boy." Where
See,
do we fall on these?
It's Beth coming from an Irish person. You're the one insulting them as one of their own. I don't have to talk about UCD. It's very much Karma, can you E me? Yeah, I got you. Okay, I'm about to kill him. QUB, they have burst damage. I think that's the most important thing to think about. Pantheon plus Syndra, incredible burst damage. Syndra plus Nocturne, incredible burst damage. Pantheon Nocturne. Great job. Wukong on top of that as well. You can start to see how if they can find pick potentials with these global ultimates on the sideways, they could be in a very solid position. I'm just scared about this Darius. If he finds a good lead up towards the top side, if that's where he's playing, can they actually deal with him?
I don't know. And that is going to be the crux of this one. In the previous game, right, we said you live by the vein, you die by the vein. And as a result, there was a whole lot of living done. That vein was able to run riot all over Summoner's Rift. And in this one, the Darius, I personally think you still slot it in the jungle, right? You're rocking Ghostblade, Ghost, Dead Man's Plate, Swifty's Boots. You're just rocking around at 575 MS, if my math is right off the top of my head. You got a spell shield. Sure, you're not getting apprehended, but you get right-clicked.
And I'm trying to remember, was this the team that we streamed? Because was it the one with the Zillion where everybody I think on purpose, brought some sort of movement item?
Move speed.
I think
Where
this
was
is the same team.
The Shirelias.
Oh, we're going to have like first item Shirelias on the Karma and Ghost on Darius if possible. He did take Flash last time, but I think he's going to upgrade towards the Ghost. Have the Yomas as well first, and they're just going to run down the enemies.
I could see it. I absolutely could see it, right? You got one Arcane Shift and you got one Flash.
Yeah.
That's it. And that ground can be covered very rapidly.
There's only one thing I've been thinking a lot about is the itemizations from the Volibear and the Darius. If Darius is towards the jungle, it's the Yomis. Very squishy. If you have the Volibear, he can go for more of a tank oriented, and hopefully he does if he's jungle, or he can go for the AP version. Most likely for this team, the way they like to play. If he goes AP version, he's very squishy as well. When we said about the amount of burst damage on the opposite side, there's a very big chance where he will run in towards the enemy team and just get blown up, because it's not like he has a zillion behind the scenes to say, okay, boy, you go in. Oh, you died. Doesn't matter. Get yourself back up. They don't have that safety net anymore in this game.
It's also worth noting that we have glossed over what tends to be a very underrated spell. You know, a very nonchalant, very subtle spell. Paranoia. Team fighting is a lot harder when someone walks into your house and turns your lights off. So they're going to be trying to navigate this in the dark while blinded. Remember, playoffs on the line. QUB taking on UCD. Summoner's Rift on screen. One more slot between these two teams. Who's going to be able to grab it up?
Yeah, going to have to see QUB going for a really interesting first go. Trying to see if they can find anybody in towards the enemy side. Sadly enough, they're not going to be able to. I really like what UCD did on the other side of the Darius. Just having it in the bush with the Lissandra. If you're able to find the resets, the 5 stacks for the Darius, you will just always win an early game. Because I had this big discussion about Braum early game compared to Darius. Which one is going to be able to win that? It's one I'm still able to find out. But a lot of pressure on the line. Have to see if that paranoia at level 6 will make it harder for UCD. Personally, I don't think so. Just because the amount of movement speed they have, they could probably cover the whole map instantly.
It's Darius Jungle.
Yep.
It's Trinity College on the Darius Jungle.
Flavor of the month.
I absolutely agree with that decision making. And you know what? Sometimes even a broken clock is right twice a day. Draft analysis will now be covered for me from here on out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, really good from you there. Knowing the flavor of the month. The reason that people like to play this Darius jungle is its clear speed. It's ludicrously fast. A usual jungler finishes their clear around 330. Darius can finish their clear at 310. And with that extra time, you can look for ganks, maybe go for those invades. And most importantly, you can scale absolutely amazingly just by having a fast clear like that. So you can already see Darius going over towards his third camp, while Nocturne's still struggling on towards his second. So we will have to see if this first part of the game is going to have any impact at all. Most likely not, but that is one of the main powers of the Darius pick.
When you're a champion who's really trying to clear and clear and clear, you're doing 2.5 clears to try and get to the level 6 down to 100 HP. Meanwhile, in the meantime, if you're just trying to clear your camps twice and keep it going, and Darius is outpacing the hard farming jungler, that's a dicey spot to be in here for the sausage.
Yeah, Nocturne likes to go for 2 of those clears and then he can start really matching the Darius. But that's a very long time where you're not going to have that priority. And with how this bot lane's going, Karma, we said it's such an amazing champion in towards that first pick Pantheon that they're not going to have prio in either bot lane or towards the top side.
Forward bot fighting, and that's Pantheon popped. The flash is not in time. Exhaust dropped on Earthshaker to keep Slime Man alive, and that was a one-way trip. Pantheon's got damage and no survivability right now.
I love how he just uses the Ignite as well, saying at least I'm going to deal some damage to you when I go down, but this is a huge loss for QUB.
Yeah, it stings. If you're supposed to have kill threat, if you're supposed to... Your job is to weather the poke and find the all-in, then you all-in and don't kill. That is a very, very dicey spot to find yourself in early.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a Soroka that scales amazingly into the game. Karma, yes, doesn't scale, but the exact same as that Pantheon. So it's hugely coming out towards this bot lane. As Darius, we talked how quick that path on clearing is. They will be able to get themselves that skull grab.
Meanwhile, Dakin is looping around to try and re-engage Slime Man on a ward stunned up barrier pop. Earthshaker is going to be traded out through Slime Man's damage. The supports are left to fend for themselves. A 1-for-1. Big burst from the Kaisa.
Yeah, double kill coming over towards the Kaisa, finding that reset and getting themselves a recurve, but was Dakin. You don't want to be here.
Trinity College and Dakin on a collision course, forcing that flash that was held earlier, meaning Dakin's able to escape with his life.
Yeah, and GCD, the reason they got caught out towards the bot side is they made a great play finding that first kill and just overstayed. They could have reset on that wave, staying for a little bit longer, will give over a kill towards the Pantheon, but still, UCD in a fantastic position. Trinity College being able to double Scuttlecrab, 31 CS towards 26, doesn't seem like a lot, but that is going to keep getting higher and higher, especially when Darius goes for that second clear path.
Absolutely. If you're able to get a small lead, jungle is one of those roles where leads become exponential. you have more damage, you clear faster, they respawn faster, you get more gold faster. And that just continues to accelerate, accelerate, accelerate. And again, as we were harping on, a full clear champ getting behind in his full clear, now where he wants to be.
Yeah, big props to UCD if their ward coverage towards the bot side. 3 in that river. There's nothing they're not going to be able to see. So they can keep pushing, keep up this pressure towards the top side. As Darius will finally find that reset, most likely a full clear towards the bot side. But instead, there is a big opportunity to go for these void grubs as UCD are very strong at this point into the game.
Well used and Pantheon en route. Dakin is likely going to be able to get the summoner spell here from my beloved here, Scat of the Week. Connecting, but no more follow-up with no level 6 and no mana. Wiggler just out of gas.
Yeah, Lissandra forcing that flash as top lane.
Level 6, Cyclone popped. He has the shield from his E, but he's not got one of his own. This Volibear is bonked to death, and Wukong picking up the solo kill off the level 6 spike.
Yeah, Volibear just wasn't expecting that as Dakin doing the smart thing of walking around. If he waited for 1 or 2 extra minutes, Volibear would have actually got himself towards that level 6. So a very small window that Bots was able to utilize. And with the mid lane as well, double TPs come through, both trying to fight for these void grubs. Dakin coming towards the bot side means that UCD actually have an opportunity to contest this. The question is, do they want to?
Re-engage an item advantage here from the rejoining Volibear. Trinity College and Sausage doing battle. Spell shield on the Q means no heal, and that's going to be Darius falling. They have the Volibear's number. He goes down after TP, and QUB win out hard on the topside fight.
And it's just super messy. Volibear tries to get towards the level 6, but instead of finishing off the minions, he goes straight towards helping his jungler, who gets instantly taken out. And we talked about the problem before of this jungler. Yes, you have a lot of damage. Sure, you can burst somebody out, but you going this lethality build means that this Nocturne, if he's the one to get on top of you, he is just going to be able to burst you. So QUB, 4 kills in their pockets, 2,000 gold lead, and those first 3 void grubs.
I mean, it's the dream start, right? You have everything in your favor. You're more than happy as long as Dakin's able to escape 200 HP. Empowered Q comment finishing him off. The burst is ginormous. No Earthshaker mana once again, and that seems to be a running theme. If you don't have the mana to cast the spell, it's not doing you much good, and Dakin taking a beating early.
Yeah, it's an absolute horror from the QUB bot lane. They need to get themselves back into the game because, yes, Wukong having that triple kill might be able to take over, but you'd much rather have it on towards your Kai'Sa, on towards your bot lane to take a carry, as this game has really been split towards the top and the bot side. As mid lane, very respectable for both of them. A little CS lead from Wiggler, expected from a veteran like him.
This is a little CS lead of 17. That is 3 waves. That is 3 waves.
But can we just talk about how good Wiggler's CS is compared to anybody else? We have 55 as the second highest, so we have a 64 as well. And then we have 76. Nobody's able to match him.
True. Last hitting like a champ here. This is some real PvE gameplay as he's looking to translate his CS lead into a little bit more aggression here as the Lissandra jumped on. Paranoia cast. Ult will buy a moment here, but jumped on and cleaned up. No one else from UCD in range to re-collapse. Flash apprehend. Darius going to be kicking this one off. Killer Instinct in the backline. Slam Man picking up 1. Getting traded out here as Wiggler's going to be re-kiting on in. The spells land. Flash forwards. Earthshaker's got 2, 3. Line him up and knock him down. He picks up a triple kill and is looking to finish off Jack. Comet Spear, not enough.
Oh, the Q almost landed from the Ezreal as well, but just getting themselves out to safety. As Dak is just an absolute madman. He wants a kill. He's looking for more. Might be able to get himself out to safety. The Sun just not going to be able to find it. But what a great play coming out from the QUB lot. Them understanding that UCD, they need to be the ones to have that first engage. If they're able to lock somebody out, find Darius that reset, they win that fight. But with Lissandra being the one caught out, they're losing out, and we needed QUB's bot lane to start being able to push their lead, get back into the game. They've done exactly that. Earthshaker, 3 kills in towards his pocket and very close towards that Trinity Force.
Happy, picking up his 900 gold, and it felt like a moment hesitation. UCD was watching their mid laner get jumped on. 3 members in jungle, but no one was able to go here. Level 5 flashing on level 7. Dakin, ill-advised, but maintaining the branding here as the Cyclone will be popped up, trying to get a 1-for-1 trade. The heal out of the Volibear. Chomp sinks his teeth in as now it's bots in Trinity College. He has the damage. True, it will be shut down onto the Monkey King as Wukong falls to the Darius gank.
And that's so important for the Darius. He needs to get that Youmustu as quick as possible and then start building that tank. We'd like to see the Dead Man's play on him, because if he can get a big enough lead where he's tanky enough not to be bursted out by the likes of this Nocturne jungle or the Syndra, he can completely take over. The problem is he doesn't have enough gold yet. So Wukong gonna die there, gonna get himself the Trinity Force. No one has a huge lead in this game as mids.
Yeah, ult for ult traded, right? Power unleashed, also getting that frozen tomb. Lissandra is able to negate it, but look in the wings. Nocturne has paranoia. As soon as vision pops, he could send. Dakin, this man refuses to give up his chase as he continues to eat spells, diving forwards. Empowered E, shield from Jack, and the Wiggler donation fund set up. Syndra sweeping that one up with the secure.
Yeah, fortunately, the last play didn't work out, but this one did. 6 Void Grubs as well going over towards the side of QUB. We haven't talked about, if they can't win these team fights later into the game, how they're going to be able to find success. It has to be this Wukong. His 3 kills in towards his pocket, going to be an absolute menace on their side lanes. Maybe not if he's even, but when ahead he can be. So with those 6 Void Grubs in, we'll see if they can get more.
Snipe down and Dakin. That is just beautiful 3-pointer.
Yeah, really nice play from him there. Going to be able to pick up that kill. A little bit more gold in towards his pocket, but most importantly, making Valju miss a full wave towards that mid lane. Means' gold lead in the middle has got up to 40.
As Volibear keeps opting into fights, and Bots is happy to oblige.
It's it's a full item to half an item. You're not going to be winning out on that. And we talked about the 6 Void Grubs coming in use already. Just bursted down that first tower plate. Plenty more to come. Only 2 minutes to get them. So hopefully he's able to make a lot of use of it earlier. As Dakin's completely just given up on bot lane.
He's just running amok up the top side here. Getting the heal is Trinity College as Darius is going to retreat underneath his structure. Popped up into the air. Cyclone not enough. And a very important sidestep here is now it's a 2v1. Talc is trying to fight his way out of the corner. Ultimate for some healing, but Dakin will finish him off all the same. 2v2 supremacy for QUB as in comes Lissandra. Bots is going to be rooted. Locked down temporarily. Ultimate is available if they choose to pop it, but don't think they have the burst. And so everyone on QUB is escorted out, and they are able to make it to safety.
Yeah, Nocturne waiting to see if Kai'Sa overextends here, looking for that ultimate.
Paranoia, tower shot absorbed. Karma dropping the exhaust over the wall with the killer instinct. This is Slime Man on a long run to safety. Dakin will not be able to rejoin with the flash. Jack is sniped out with that Duskbringer as Wiggler on the collapse. Nowhere left to run. Wiggler is able to pick that one up once more and twice. Dakin delivering the Uber Eats straight into Wiggler.
Yeah, really nice play there. Dakin just everywhere on this map. Had a hard early game against this Karma. He said straight away, get me out of this lane. Get me to impact the game. And that's exactly what he's done here. As Darius towards the bot side, looking for a play. Same in the mid lane.
It's going to be a fight on 2 fronts. Flash forwards, W slow, and Earthshaker is trying to fight his way out. Nothing left to do. 1-for-1 on 2 separate places.
Yeah, going to be able to find some really good plays from the side of QB towards the mid lane. Might be able to pick themselves up the tower. And as well, the Dragon on top of this. Darius knowing, yes, he might have that first item. Still very squishy against this Nocturne. And, of course, against this bot lane champion. So QB, they still very much in the lead here. But there are still chances for using
Volley stops fighting the Wukong.
To be honest, like, what's there to say at this point? Wukong just wins. Like, how many times do you have to fight until you understand, maybe I don't win these?
Talc, brother, you have a Kindle gem. Just let him take your tower. Let him take it. Let him take it.
I mean, this is like the full thing of Till. It's down below you, win and you're in. The importance of this game.
Minor spelling mistake detected. Get him. Syntax error.
I love how many times you've done that to me on my stream, or just in person.
Meanwhile, Slime Man is going to be jumped on by this bloodthirsty Pantheon. Once again, symbiotic souls everywhere and nowhere all at once, and he is hustling to try and pick up this karma.
Yeah, going to be able to pick him up. Most likely. Oh,
that's
great sweeper.
sweeper. That's so gross. Jack's just trying to recall in the Krug camp. This is just an absolute clown house waiting to happen. Popping the ult, flash, paranoia, re-engage, one-man cyclone. Volibear is going to be trying to buy a moment and exploding to all the HP. Apprehend underneath the tower, smelly sausage, popped up, knocked down, and he's going to be able to his escape. Bot survives. Void Seeker does not find the mark, and they just run them down. 3-0, QUB just clowning on him in the topside jungle.
Yeah, there's a 10,000 gold lead as well. Banning away that Zillion, I think, was the best idea, as even he's had to ult out.
Earthshaker and Slime Man in a 1-for-1 trade so far. Wait for the Comet Spear, and Dakin's got his eye in. He might have no interest in laning, but his basketball career is taken off.
I mean, it's absolutely insane that you know that it's called Comet Spear.
It's Comet Spear. You have tap Comet Spear and you have the throw Comet Spear. 40% CDR.
It'd be kind of cool if they're different names, but fair enough. Gold lead right in front of you. The jungle's very close. Where the gold lead is towards the top side. There might be almost double the amount of gold on the QB top laner than UCD. Difficult game to say the least.
Hello? What about the other solo lane, buddy?
I'm trying to make the game feel close. I'm not allowed to say that. Like, Wiggler's already had enough praise from us. He doesn't need more. Now, the champion I want to question the most is Dakin having a good game or not? Because I seriously can't tell. Because half of his plays are giga world brain amazing, and then half the plays he's just running it.
That is the best kind of support player here. Is he's looking for Jack, and there's nothing left to be done. He's unstoppable. That's got to be giving him his flowers. Ultimate committed, and Wukong gets the ultimate in kind. Solo kill topside. Pick on the mid lane. QUB's gold is piling up in a dragon's heart at this point.
Yeah, going to get themselves to Rift Herald as well. And do you remember the comment I made before? At 10 minutes, there's minimum going to be 10 kills. Well, at 17 minutes, there's definitely more than 17 kills. 25 plus 7, you could do the maths.
32. 32 kills in 17 minutes.
We're the players, you know, everybody in Discord.
Meanwhile, we're trying to add to that total. Poor Volibear. We are going to have to put this on the endangered species list at the end of this game. There are not many bears left in the wild. Dakin has seen to that.
Now, there's one thing I am a little bit sad about. We do have a Karma Q Maxer here on our screens. I did want the E Max. I did want, you know, movement speed from all of their champions. Sadly, we will not be getting that from the mid lane and the AD carry. Sad times.
Okay. Typically, this is where I throw it to, what are your comeback tools? DDoS, potentially.
Yeah, do the thing that happens to T1 every season. Just DDoS. I'm sorry.
DDoS him. Turn his monitor off.
Yeah, I think Trinity College got DDoS for about 30 seconds. I'm not sure what happened there. Somehow death screen. It's what you do. Because I know this is the part where I'm meant to come in and answer it, but this is absolute domination. You win and you're in. I don't get how QUB lose this. The only chance they have to lose it is if all 5 of their players just wants to run it down.
Wiggler just ate the entire Acathian Rain, pressed his Q key, and won the trade. So it's rough.
The only person to not even die once. Well, everybody else has been clowning out around him. Wiggler stayed towards the mid lane, able to get the tower as, you know, Fix Xiao has joined in on the funhouse, been able to quite safely be able to do what he does. And that's the problem I'm having with trying to say UCD, get yourself back into the game, because I just don't think Wiggler will ever allow it.
It's comebackable. Volibear has completed an item. Volibear has completed an item. He is on the board. He's on the board.
Will he complete boots? That's the question.
The Merc trades are next up. it looks like, with MR and Darius falling. There's going to be a chase down in the top lane. Here comes Lissandra ulting, trying to break the KDA as Wiggler falls, and they get there. Man, that's the moment they needed. Perfect KDA no longer. They lose 4 to do it, but they got him. Shutdown secured.
My caster curses today have been worse than ever before. We've had it with Oct in the last game. We have it with Wiggler right now, where I say, oh, he's never going to die. Dies in the next team fight, but seems to be very much worth it. Good to be able to pick up 2 points.
Oh, Slime. Kite for your life here is the Wukong press and the S key flash ultimate. He's doing it with style here underneath the tower, absorbing many shots, and the reset comes through. Darius has got all the extra AD to work with, and team members responding. 2 seconds on the bear, volley en route. Back in, ult, committed, bleeding out as the hemorrhage stacks tick, and they finally finish him off, resetting, heal from the Q. The Nocturne will trade it out with an ultimate paranoia committed Earthshaker, hitting the Nexus. In the meantime, they're chasing the Nock as the Ezreal puts the beat down on their Nexus. The Void Mind's starting to chomp away. Does he have the Expeke backdoor potential? But no, they're able to collapse on in. They spend every flash in the kitchen sink trying to shut this man down. Earthshaker fights his way to a 1-for-1. UCD live to tell the tale, but their base in absolute shambles.
And the hype is real now. You win, you're in. 15,000 gold lead. How many stories could you tell towards your college mates, towards your university mates about, yeah, I was 15,000 gold in this game against QUB and we came back and won it. That could happen to UCD. How they're going to do it, who knows? Pick after pick after pick, but they have a chance. They get themselves a few kills, and mostly they have to pray, honestly, to make this work, but they're still not out of it yet.
They're not out of it. It ain't over until the Nexus explodes. However, Bots is looking to try and speed this process along. Dakin looping around. We have members fishing. The Darius will regroup with his team, and no Ezreal. They might look to just burst this down. 4v5 S key pressed. Jack throwing out that empowered Q. The minions being able to do a little bit more chip damage down to half HP is the Nexus. And remember, no marksman. If you're gonna go, you gotta go now.
Yeah, they have to be quick about this, but how can they engage? All they have that Karma E.
And a leak, Darius bursted, and they take the plunge. 4v5 damage is done. And just like that, Nexus will fall. They don't even need the Earthshaker. It crumbles in front of them. QUB punched their ticket to playoffs.
Yeah, that Karma pick down towards the bot side gave an opportunity for them back into the game, but it's too little too late. QB coming out victorious here. Wiggler giving himself another chance at that title. Maybe QB can come back. Only 3 teams under their belt. Maybe this one will be the strongest.
You win and you win, and
You lose if you lose.
that was accomplished. I typically, this is where you would kind of go through and find the turning points in this game, and I want to just really just drill down on a specific member. Dakin. Was that a pop-off performance? Was that complete grief? Was that somewhere in between those 2 points? How do you
Has
feel
to
as
be
a
in between, right?
as a support enthusiast yourself and a massive fan of a particular Hylissang?
Yeah.
That was what that reminded me of. Sometimes you W forward and kill yourself, and sometimes you W forward to get a pick and chase the ends of the earth to finish them off with a Comet Spear.
Let me discuss what happens towards supports sometimes. Sometimes lane doesn't go as planned. Sometimes you go against the Karma as a Pantheon, and you get solo kill. In my head, I think, okay, bot lane might be playable. I go down there once again. It's not playable at all. So then I say, okay, AD carry, it's nice knowing ya. I'm going to go that way. I will see you later. The AD carry cries, but he's playing Ezreal, and he says, okay, man, you do you. And what you do is you have a pop-off performance afterwards. You go mid lane, you find a kill. Then you go top lane, find a kill. Then you go mid lane, top, mid, top, mid, top. Oh, cool. I'm 10 kills. I don't know what happened. I was able to make it work. And that's exactly what Dakin did. He understood that he has an Ezreal AD carry. He'll mostly be fine by himself. Focus on other places on the map. And we talked about that Darius, somebody who was very squishy. Dakin and of course the jungler themselves, the Nocturne, did a great job of shutting him down by just being wherever he was. So ironically enough, maybe him dying in the first couple gave him that, who cares, I'm a just roam mentality.
It certainly seemed to be the I want absolutely nothing to do with this lane and I'll go be valuable elsewhere. And elsewhere that he was being happened to be a 4-kill Wukong. So that also tends to be another arrow in your quiver, as there's only so many times that you can test the 1v1 before discovering that you probably ought to stop doing that.
Okay, this isn't a defense of him. I'm just thinking this could be a theory of what happened. You know, when you have a very close fight, you fight them, they barely win, and you're like, oh, I was so close. So then you go, okay, it was very close. If I do this one small thing differently, I can win. Then you go again, you lose again. The gap gets bigger, and you go, okay, the third time, I know he did this, then he did this. If I outplay him though, seriously, third time I can do it. At that point, you die again. The gap's so big you could never kill it. But in your head, you know this guy isn't a good player. You just made a few too many mistakes. Then you just keep going and going and going until you're like 0-6. They've got your tower. The game's lost. You put your hands up and you say, jungle diff. It wasn't me. My jungle should have ganked me.
The reason that he died after the TP was the Darius did get bursted on the Void Grubs. Remember? That was the TP in for the Volibear. Tried to link up with the Darius. Darius got burst and he got chased down underneath his tower. So
jungle diff.
At least one of those deaths was jungle diff.
Okay, because I just want you to know how passionate this top laner is, the Volibear, to help the Darius. He just got killed because the enemy was level 6, right? He TPs back in, a full 2-stacked wave that he could have grabbed, got himself towards level 6, and then fought. He was like, nah, I don't need this wave. It's not about me, it's about you. Runs as Wukong's hitting him just to support his jungler. Now, they may not have won, but they've won each other's hearts, honestly. That's a lover's quarrel if I've ever seen one.
The synergy was there. They were able to link up, but unfortunately wasn't enough. The reason that we're going to be holding on for just a moment is to try and see what other teams have booked their ticket. We'll have a moment to kind of collect ourselves, any information on other games completing and who punches their tickets into the playoffs. But if production is floating around, can you give us who has already punched their ticket, if at all possible, once you have that list available, Mr. Heltic? In the meantime, how was that? How was this process of getting through into playoffs, right? This is the final series of the Swiss. From here on out, it will be knockout games.
Yep.
Any standouts, any memories in particular that you kind of want to call back to as we look to tie this section off?
So, I do want to give a shout out to the UCD team that we just saw. Their game here wasn't of the highest quality, but their game beforehand with that Zillion, when they had the Volibear, they just ran everybody down. That was one of my favorite games to watch because it was just purely, okay, we go now, Shirelias, you have the Volibear running, there's no way of stopping him, an absolute chaos. That's probably the best moment for me, at least in this Irish Collegiate Series.
Yeah, I can imagine it, right? There was everyone build move speed and just sprint around the map at the speed of sound. Unable to recreate it, but nonetheless amusing. And we do have word. The ones who have officially punched tickets are TUD Meow, UCD Leviathans A, TUD Diddy Kong, and TUD Gibbons. So far, those are the 4 teams that have been secured. With everyone else playing games, there were so many teams piled up at 5 and 4. I don't even remember. I don't have this off the top of my head, but everyone seemed to collect at 5-4.
Yeah, I love how you went TUD, not TUD, TUD, and then TUD. I think there's a very heavy favorite team or university to win this. I'm just saying. I don't want to say it, but I had to say it. You talk about how Europe is a one-man region.
Europe is a one-man region. Don't make me do this again. You have one funny bald player and a whole bunch of coattail riders.
A one university system. That's how
Okay,
it
but
works here, and I'm sorry.
when you enter 7 teams, you're gonna get some in the top 4.
I'm
they
just putting
submit
my hands
Excel
up.
docs. They don't submit rosters. It's Excel docs.
I'm not the one who goes to the unis here, but other universities, you have to step up. In my head, when I think League of Legends, I think TUD. Is that a problem? Maybe. Maybe they need to fix it. Bring more players, bring more teams. At this point, I want other teams than TUD versus TUDB.
TUB are literally also. Wait a second. TUD Gibbons? That's not even right. It's UCD Gibbons. Am I being griefed by my producer? TUD Gibbons is not a team, right? Hang on.
Okay, that does mean that my point beforehand.
I might be getting griefed by my producer. I swear that
I would be like 50% would be TUD. Okay.
Gibbons is TUD Gibbons? Is it? It is TUD Gibbons. I don't know what's going on anymore.
So,
I swear they were a UCD team.
You're one uni region, Sandbag. How's it feel?
I'm confused. That's how I feel. I feel confused. I don't know.
The thing is, right, the amount of people that we've known throughout our times here now, of when we've been able to go towards the in-person events, just talking around about some you, of course, going towards the university as well. Seeing them play has been some of the most entertaining. Because I was in call with one of them beforehand, somebody better known as Badger. The way they talk about this league, they're like, well, we have this master plan. We're going to play Swain bot. We're going to do this. Everything's perfect. And I'm just sitting there in my head, knowing that their draft and comps aren't correct. And I have to sit there and be like, yeah.
Leaked.
You're right.
Leaked.
It doesn't matter. They've played their games already. It's okay at this point. I absolutely love to just see them learn and understand League to a higher level, because the highest level of the Irish Collegiate Series is actually pretty solid. We've seen a lot of the players do well in Division 2, get themselves over towards the playoffs. And then we just see some like bronze players, and you and me have to sit there being like, they have 10 CS. We're proud of them. That's what we have here. It's like, you can't even describe the discrepancy of teams here.
You're saying that as a purist, right? Because you're saying that as someone who likes to analyze the game and put the pieces together. But I'm going to completely challenge that, because at the end of the day, this is an entertainment product. This is meant to be enjoyment and competition. And sometimes you need to just round up 5 of your silver buddies and enter a team with the exclusive purpose of first-time A champions on stage, knowing that you're going to get a broadcast behind you. You're going to get people in Twitch chat clowning you for flashing and headbutting walls. This is all in good fun, right? At the end of the day, this is what this is for. This is why I do love the kind of grassroots, is you just load up with 5 friends, you represent your uni, and you put on a show. And to everyone who's able to enter it, I thank you very much for your time. And unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye to some of these teams, right? Not everyone can make the playoffs, so this is going to be the end of the journey for some of the people in this split. And so I suppose this is where the wrap-up of the regular season is. Any parting things that you want to leave us with as we look to wrap this one up for the night?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's that important what I'm going to say, because I should be here for the playoffs. Sandbag. I can't even call you my Irish brethren, but the person that has helped me understand the scene, you know so many people behind the scenes. You're going away. I'm going to miss you. Of course, we've got OBK, we've got other talent. Of course, Heltic will be here behind the scenes, but you really have to, I don't know, just talk to the people. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was enjoying it. I will be tuning into the stream, but unfortunately, being abroad, not going to bring the PC and the carry-on, so I'll just have to hang out in the Twitch chat with everybody else, you know, in with the rest of the folks down there. But we have the parting shot here. Nima Nation going to be locking in their playoffs, and as the rest of the results filter on in, I'm sure y'all will be able to keep up with that one as it goes. But for one final time, that's going to do it for us for the regular season. I have been Sandbag. This has been Zathos. Heltic behind the camera, making it all happen. Thank you very much for joining. Playoffs starting next week. You don't want to miss it. Same time, same place. See you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.